Today we will be learning how to find the areas of some other figures. Now you will recognize this particular figure from our last lesson. It is our parallelogram. And we found out that finding the area of a parallelogram is simply the base times the height. Okay, base times the height. So I'm going to show you what I'm going to do. I'm going to draw in that height here. I'm just going to draw this in, just so that we know what it is. That is the height, and this is the base. Okay. So that whole, I'm just going to put a B right there. So this whole area is that. I am going to connect these two for right now, just for you to see. I'm going to connect that. And then I am going to cut along that line. I connected those two vertices, those two opposite vertices. So I cut that. Look at what I did. I created two triangles. Now look what happens. If I put them right on top of each other, they wouldn't be so slippery. Look at that. They are congruent triangles. So I can take a parallelogram, cut it along its diagonal, and it creates two congruent triangles. Now, if the area of this whole parallelogram is base times height, area equals BH, if I cut it in half, the area of one of these, I wonder what that's going to be. If this is base times height, and I cut it in half, you guessed it. The area of a triangle is 1/2 the base times the height. The area of a triangle is 1/2 the base times the height. Wonder. All right, let's look at another shape. I have this shape, and we know from our geometry unit that this is a trapezoid. A trapezoid has one pair of parallel lines, and they're not congruent. Okay, one pair, and they are not congruent. We want to find out what the area of this figure is. Okay. So let's look at, I am going to construct an identical trapezoid. These two are congruent. If I put them on top of each other, they are the exact same size. Okay. I am going to spin one of them around and put it here. What does that make? You can't really see it. I'm going to kind of slant it there. That should look a lot like a parallelogram. Look at that. Here's a set of parallel and congruent sides. These short ones are the set of parallel and congruent sides. Now, let's go back to our trapezoid. In a trapezoid, the two parallel sides, we label the two bases. That's kind of where we're going to get might get this a little bit confused at first. So in a trapezoid, we have base 1 and base 2. It doesn't really matter. So when I constructed that, I labeled them the same, B1 and B2, B1 and B2. When I put them together, you can see that my bases, the base of this is now B1 plus B2. B1 plus B2. So it looks like I have a nice parallelogram. And we know that when we find the area of a parallelogram, it is base times height. Okay? So this base is really a combination of B1 plus B2. And then my height is right here. So this is the area of the parallelogram. Okay? Now, if I took one of these away, I only have half of it left. So the area of my trapezoid is 1/2 the sum of the bases times h. So the way we're going to find the area of a trapezoid, we are going to take the two bases, add them together, multiply by the height, and then multiply by 1/2. Now we can practice some problems.